We're jumping in and exploring the Centurion in this Battletech vlog. And this is a mech that every time I see it or I fight against it, I ask myself, why am I not playing this machine? It's really, really solid. And this is the big problem with battle value. I need like 2-to-1 buy-in. There are so many really fun and amazing machines and just never enough battle value to make it happen. So I'm putting this kind of marker in my Lance book here where I want to get the Centurion into rotation because it's a solid mech. It's a lot of fun. And I do consider it an auto-include. Now, really quick, just to frame this vlog for those new to Battletech, I define an auto-include as a solid mech that is going to hold its own or excel in a variety of roles. What you're going to see as you look through the tech manuals, some mechs are range support, long range support. They can put down a ton of missiles at long range, but if your opponent gets close, they're kind of in trouble. Or you see specialized mechs. It's really fast. It only has one gun. It's there for recon. Or stuff like the Firestarter, right? Novelty type mechs. And Firestarter is very, very effective. Firestarter almost, the challenge with the Firestarter, and I pushed that Tactica up to the Battletech playlist here, it has a feeling with the weapons as a medium mech. It's almost like you want to play it like a medium. You get into trouble because it's a light. It does not have the staying power to go against, even think about going against mediums. But jumping back to the Centurion, this is one of those mechs that it excels in a variety of roles. It's solid. If you don't know the mission ahead of time, you don't know the hex map you're playing on, you don't know what your opponent's going to bring, you take the Centurion, it's going to be solid. As opposed to some other mechs where if you take them, taking a sniper type mech and then you pull out a hex map, it's just a total desert sand sea with like one dune, you're in trouble, right? Centurion works. So let's jump in with the weapons. The primary weapons, an autocannon 10 and an LRM 10 pack. This is going to put down some interesting firepower at range. It's going to put down the 10 points with the autocannon, and it's going to put the spread with the 10 missiles. For this weight class and this tonnage, I consider 10 to be the absolute minimum, at least what I'm looking for personally, because you've got some tonnage to mount heavier things. If we look at the Valkyrie, which is a light mech, that's a novelty. How you pack in an LRM 10 and other weapons and still have movement and speed capability, that's an engineering feat. But to find a 10 pack or a 5 pack on other mechs, depending on the weight class, it's a little bit underpowered. Would I like a 15 or a 20 on a medium? Sure, but hey, we have to pack things on as we can. So the 10 is absolutely solid. What this means is consistent fire at range. If it's part of a lance and it's advancing, it's just going to lay down the autocannon. As soon as we're in range, never tell me the odds. I don't even need to know the modifiers. I'm going to be firing. If we want to hang back, if it's part of a support lance and we're kind of hanging back and just throwing down some dice on the table from cover, it's got the 2, solid 10, and it's got the spread. Side note, could do indirect fire on the way in. I don't think I would attach it to an indirect fire lance because then you're not utilizing the other weapons and it's kind of stuck there in indirect fire mode, meaning if I have like 2 longbows and it's hanging back, I don't think I would park it with longbows or archers. I want it as part of a mobile and aggressive lance. So now we start to close. Then we switch to medium lasers. So now you're switching and pushing the heat. We have to be careful with this. If I'm pushing the long-range missile and the autocannon and I'm moving, and then I switch to the laser, those are 3 solid shots as we're moving. Now, depending on range, at some point I might stop firing the LRM-10, but then you've got the autocannon and you've got the medium laser. Medium laser is in the center torso. When you get your arm blown off, because look, this is Battletech, you're going to get the arm blown off, you've still got something. And what this means is this mech, barring a critical hit, a lucky hit, I mean, you could go to internals and center torso and take a medium laser hit and it's out. But then if that's better than taking an engine or a gyro hit, and then if it's going to internals for center torso, you've got bigger problems. What I'm saying, though, is you're always going to have something to zap with this mech. By the time you can't zap with that center torso medium laser, you're a cord out or you've got bigger problems. It also has a second one, rear facing, could be interesting, could be nice to have. I think I'd rather have it forward facing because I would attach this to a lance that's going to cover me. But if we get surrounded by annoying units or some light mech decides it wants to try and go around back, you've got something could secondary target and drive it off. But we've got that opportunity. You could also say you've got another crit slot, possibly. Armor. It's got solid armor. Now, at the offset of speed, I think it's a little bit, in my opinion, slower than what a medium mech should be, but not overly. It's still going to be able to keep up. It's still going to find itself with a lance. But that armor means it could take some hits. It's a workhorse. It's absolutely solid. A solid mech that is just going to mix and match and be slotted into your lance and work. So I consider this mech an absolute auto-include. You're looking to build up your miniature collection, and yes, there are mechs that you're going to take for a variety of reasons, because you enjoy them, because you're interested in them, because they look kind of cool and quirky. But then there's going to be those mechs that just absolutely excel. Trooper mechs, auto-includes, and I consider the Centurion one of them. Now, turning it over to my fellow mech warriors, mech commanders, and mech techs, we're looking at that band of medium mechs. How do you rank the Centurion, and how do you see it operating within a lance?